So here are some videos that I've filmed over the summer in China, and essentially I've asked four of my friends to go through all of them in the file in the format of YouTube Shorts, and I've lined them up all together here to see the way that they're looking. What drew me to this one? It's loaded. What drew me to this one was like there were like these weird flaps on top of the mall that floated with the wind, and then it matched with the bells down below. But I feel like from the rate at which my friend like gone through this video, I think she either didn't notice it or she didn't, I don't know, she didn't mind it that much, or she didn't, yeah. This was an indoor mall zoo thing, petting zoo. It's pretty common in China, but I feel like I shopped this a bit too far, so it's not that interesting. Also, I guess for full disclosure, like I did see these footages, as in these screen recordings, twice already. So I think I'm not saying everything I want to say about them, but I don't know. I'll try my best. That was also really interesting because I realized that with her, this specific viewer, she is looking for changes in the footage. Some of the other people, they either skipped entirely or they would zoom into certain details, but she was more looking for change, which is, I think, kind of what a documentary editor is thinking as well, because change is ultimately the thing that grips the audience. I remember when I filmed that one and also this one, there was, I'm not sure what I was looking at. I think maybe the stores, that like little store down below, and how it was alongside all these different dimensions of people moving through the mall. Um, like they were at this one plane and then everyone else is sort of traveling between them. I thought that was interesting. But I think also I was looking at like that couple. That couple was, that was over here. Okay, that really surprised me. Like I thought this was really interesting because like why is there a horse riding school in a mall? But surprisingly, everyone didn't nobody cared about this one. I thought that was really interesting. Um, and but however, they did care about the surfing one. Um, I think perhaps the image of um, like people, like someone surfing in a closed space is more rare than footage of people riding a horse indoors. I don't know, but yeah, surprisingly not that interesting to people.
要不要去看看？下面有我没有加糖的哈，不然你没有加糖的，还行吗？
因为那个珍珠里面
珍珠对对，珍珠本身就是糖，所以我特地叫他不要给我加糖。
就这样。
然后是回转寿司吗？
现在还是。
我感觉你回来，我可能把你喂胖10斤。
我感觉我长不了太胖。
我长的，我要被你。
没关系，我帮你吃。
我本来已经不吃这些东西，哇，我不加糖都这么甜。
对，它那个红糖真的。
Okay, so for context, that's my mom, and we got bubble tea, and she was like, "This is really there's too much sugar in this, and I'm gonna get fat," so she gave the rest to me. Like what's really interesting about this one is that this is the first video that this viewer did not skip at all. Like, yeah, like even though she's not Chinese, she doesn't understand Chinese. She like stuck with it because because it's very clear that that's my mom, and I think that like symbolic image was interesting to her. Yeah, like this image I thought was really nice. I thought this was really nice because like the way the horse hair and this thing interacted. But yeah, I think that's part of the problem with these footages is that I looked at them more like how a photographer looks at them. It's like it's a nice image and then some story might develop from it. But I cared more about the image, I think, than the story. And yeah, so I think that's why people didn't like it as much. Like, for example, if I had framed this with the horse in the middle and I, zoomed in to the hair and then to this thing, it would have been clear what I was paying attention to. But like this as an image, like it doesn't really say what interests me about this, and it's kind of unclear. Yeah. This one, this one also thought was interesting because this was originally like a 8 minute long or like 5 minute long video, and I had cut the beginning of it so that it would start when the woman screams. like that. And I guess that's another thing with these footages is that uh, because of the time constraint of YouTube Shorts, which is up to 3 minutes, there were videos that I had to cut, and inevitably in that, I had to decide. Um, I made like a cut. It's not purely raw footages, as much as I wanted it to be just raw footages. Um, yeah, but even so, it didn't really bring the viewer's attention to like stick with the video. They just kind of okay, they're like, okay, this happened, but we're not really sure what's going on. Yeah, again, that thing with change, like she's very obviously looking for some sort of development.
快点击右下角入口体验吧。新科技。
There is technical audio in that one, but it was too quiet. I really liked the stairs in Chinese malls. I think that's something that I didn't see at all when I came to America, even in American malls. American malls are very linear, whereas Chinese malls, I think it's um, like for example, this escalator, it goes from this floor down to 3 floors, and then this one goes one flight. Whereas American malls, it tends to be one layer at a time. Partly because I think there's not as much, um, like there's not as much people that they would need a system like this that offers people different options of how much they want to go up or down. They either use one layer escalators or elevators, whereas in Chinese malls, they have a lot of these options. Um, yeah. Also, I have the option to like, there's a fast forward button on my keyboard, so I'll be doing that from time to time. This, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Let's look at that again. She was like really segmenting this video the same way someone would like, zoom in to different parts of a photo. She was treating the video like that. Yeah. I'm so surprised that she stayed this long on this one. I don't know why I was focusing on that. Yeah, when I was filming this, I was looking at this image and I was very in awe of I was very in awe of it. But I think that awe kind of it disappears when it's in the form of a video, because you're not. It's like the reason why people like live shows, or what's special about live shows is that anything could happen, and the fact that it exists is kind of amazing. But when you have it as a video, you're thinking, yeah. I mean, it's also like not that shocking of an image. I think it's awe-inducing, but it's awe-inducing the same way that a photo is awe-inducing, and it stays with you the same amount of time that a photo does. I was editing another documentary recently, and in editing, I realized that I couldn't piece together a story because I was way too keen on having nice images, that I sacrificed audio, I sacrificed the story, and just a bunch of different stuff. And I think that's part of the problem here, is with the way I looked at the world. Yeah. Yeah, I really wish she stayed longer with that. He was on alpaca, and me chasing towards it. I like these moments when my phone's audio kind of bleeds in, like it interrupts the recording of outside sound. I thought that was really strange.
前方红灯即将变绿，请注意观察路口情况。
There was okay, with that one, there was a moment where okay, maybe another video shows it. Yeah. There was a moment in that video. This is the second view. yeah, this was something about this really bothered me, like the fact that she was not scrolling but pressing a button. I think when you're scrolling, there's a moment of hesitation that you don't have with this. Like when you're scrolling, you can you can go up for a second, and then as the video continues to play, you can go back. But here it's like you cut. Like when you cut, you really just cut. I didn't notice that part before. Meat Fresh is like a dessert store in China. Yeah, what was really interesting about that one when I first saw it was that um, with the first viewer, at least we saw, um, she would scroll through to see if there's any change. This viewer did not wait or go, scroll to the more interesting parts. She just cuts when she realizes that this video is not interesting. So, like, I really needed to. She's one of the viewers who I needed to grip in the first like 2 seconds, and I wasn't able to for the most part. Something else I was surprised about is that um, the viewers, because they're American, even though they're American, they're not as voyeuristic as I thought they would be. Because I was like, this is footage of a country that they've never seen before. So even, because it is exotic, they would keep watching. But apparently, like the exoticness of a place, unless it's really majestic in and of itself, I don't think people care as much.
新科技，快点击右下角入口体验吧。
Yeah, it's the first time. The first time this viewer like actually went back and forth. So it's not the fact that like she's not able to go back and forth, it's that it's not as important to her. She's more like, if this video is not interesting in the first few seconds, I don't really care about what happens afterwards. Yeah, this was also interesting because this didn't happen in the first one, but it happened in all the other videos. And I think when people start checking, like at what point in this series we're in, I think that's when things start to speed up even more. Like this one is in 7 seconds. 8. 6. Yeah, the most interesting. Okay. Yeah, the most interesting one lasted only 6 seconds.
前方200米，绿灯剩余32秒。前方红灯即将变绿，请注意观察路口情况。
I feel like when I watch this and I start to think from the perspective of my friend here, like it feels like she's annoyed looking at it. Okay, this is the third viewer. Okay, that's also really interesting. The first time someone used the zoom. And it's also the first time that someone noticed, like, these people, I think. I think he noticed it because he kept watching. Like, these people were just walking up and down. Also interesting here that he checked so early. Even though he was the most patient with this first video. He stayed here, I don't know, like 20, 30 seconds. Yeah, this one is not particularly interesting. I'm just gonna speed. this moment was interesting, because it made me realize that, like, one of the problems with watching footages on a phone is that it's inherently um, a very a distraction filled place. Um, just as like it's hard to read in a loud room, I think it's hard to watch videos when you're surrounded by every other app. Um, but at the same time, like these cannot exist in anywhere that's just on its own. It's bound to on a computer, on a laptop, on a computer, on a iPad, or on a phone. It's always going to be, um, it's always going to have other stuff in the background. It's never going to be by itself, just the videos. I wonder if I had sped up the videos, whether that would have made a difference. I think probably, which is to say that people start paying attention when they see patterns, and they didn't see patterns when it was this slow. They just saw like random images. That's why the documentary Koya Naskasi, I think, worked. Is because it showed all these patterns by speeding things up. Wait, okay. Also, very interesting. The guy, like, I had the highest hopes for this guy because he stuck with the first video the longest, but he went, I don't know, like 6 minutes in total, and then stopped midway. And later on, he told me that he had he had a meeting he needed to go to afterwards, so that's why he needed to cut it short. Um, yeah, I'm glad. I think it's also really interesting that these are my friends, didn't, um, watch these videos longer because it's a project that I did. I think even though they know that I'll be seeing what they're seeing, I think if I had edited a whole movie and then I asked them to screen record it, they wouldn't, you know, stop midway because that would show that they're bored with the film. But with these, they didn't see these as my work. They saw these as like I think a more random collection of videos. So um, it felt like more okay to skip or to stop halfway. I thought that was really interesting. I think these moments are nice because it shows that like the audience is not entirely controlled, um, even though they are compelled by certain social norms, like you should watch this thing by your friend. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways. This is on 16 speed, I think. This one ended. This one ended the fastest. Okay, how about? Let's watch the whole thing in the highest speed. This is at 32 times speed, I think. think part of the reason why I wanted to do this project is that um, I think when the video itself has a certain momentum, people start to pay attention. So, for in a regular film, people pay attention because the momentum is created by the editor, um, momentum and purpose. And then here in these screen recordings, the purpose and momentum is created by the viewers. And then now it's created by the speeding up. And it's like this momentum that overrides all these other momentums. And this is the only time that I actually don't like mind, just sticking with the video and not skipping. I think if a video is fast enough and it's not, like one of those 24-hour documentaries of a shipping container, people will watch it because they're like, there's someone skipping for me, and someone else, the other person watching, also recognizes that this is boring, so I'm gonna keep watching.